So,
hello.
Hey, can you believe it's been 12 months since we actually moved into the house?
I can actually.
It's been a big year actually.
I thought it had been longer.
We bought the place in November 21, but we didn't move in until March of 22.
Was it March?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it April?
No, it was March.
Oh.
Yep. So yeah, there was a few months there where it just was a weekender and we didn't get to do anything other than mow grass.
Mow grass and water and trim roses. That was about it.
All we were able to achieve. Yep.
Oh, and we made some jam.
We did make some jam. Actually, we did a video in between our tour videos and when we first moved up, which was our apricot jam making. So we harvested apricots from the trees, and that was the first thing we were able to make from our own produce. So what was today's plan of attack for you? What did you want to achieve today?
Well, it's well and truly into fig season at the moment. So at the moment, the birds are probably winning the race, but we probably need to up our game and get some of the figs for ourselves. So that's today's plan. So let's pick some of our figs and we'll have a little chin wag while we cut them up and put some in the dehydrator.
Sounds like a plan.
G'day, we're Zoom and Bettie. Welcome to our 1 acre homestead in Victoria, Australia. On our channel, we document our adventures both on and off the homestead, so if you're keen to see more around our neck of the woods and follow along with our adventures, give the subscription button a click. We're excited to have you along for the ride.
So do you reckon these bags that we tried this year have helped out quite a bit? Because last year we barely got any figs, the birds got them all.
I mean, they've probably helped maybe to save about 2% of the figs, because I mean,
we didn't have too many of the bags, but
look at the size of the tree, and the figs kind of tend to sort of grow not just on the very tip of the branch, they tend to grow like further along the branch as well sometimes, so the bags, I can see a bird right now, the bags kind of only tend to be good for the few that are on the very end, but that's okay, we don't mind sharing because there's like thousands on here, so it's fine. For our babies.
So we're into autumn now. This is our second autumn here, but the seasons were really weird because we had that torrential flooding back at the end of last year, and so our summer season started a lot later than it probably would normally. So we're sort of battling the climate at the moment to try to get through and have our pumpkins all finish their growing season before the weather changes too much. It's starting to get a little bit cooler now, so fingers crossed things hold out. This has definitely been our most successful season of the 4 so far, so it's really, really exciting. We did pretty well through the last sort of winter-spring area before the flooding hit, but it's definitely going bonkers this season.
Have a look at this behemoth.
It's the size of a bowling ball.
It feels really cool.
Very waxy.
Yeah. Waxy bowling ball.
These butternuts are probably one of my most exciting things going on at the moment. I love checking these every day. But over here, we've got these ones going on. That's the same as that huge one we just showed you. And do you want to show us a Jackby Little?
You probably gotta come over here though.
Just gotta step over this. We've got no pathways anymore. Whoop. Almost stepped on the watermelon. Show us a Jack. Oh, there he is.
Look how cute.
They're so adorable. They look like real Halloween pumpkins.
But small. Everything's better when it's small.
Just like you.
Yeah.
Hey Betty,
Yes.
what do you reckon's been your number one tip this season for how well things have been growing?
Definitely the mulch has worked really, really well because it's helped to keep the weeds down, and it's also helped to keep the soil a lot like moister without having to water it. Is moister a word? More moist.
More damp.
More damp. Without us having to water as often, so that's probably been my biggest positive thing this year.
So what are you doing at the moment?
I'm doing some hand pollinating.
And what's that?
just giving our little vegetable friends a helping hand to make sure that the flowers that have the sort of, I guess you call it male genetics, get over to the female flowers.
Nature's maracas.
Nature's maracas.
Have a little snack from the garden before we get into the works. Oh my god, so good. Alright. Well, better show me your haul of figs. That's a few.
That's a few. And I still have some more inside.
There's lots that weren't worth grabbing even though they were nice and ripe because the birds have attacked and
there's
eaten
like a
half of them.
shred left.
And they eat like a little bit and then move on to the next one, so they're all like half eaten, which is just eat the whole thing, guys. Just eat the whole thing. Anyway. This is why we get rogue snow peas growing everywhere. Just another little snack before we go in.
Just a couple little garden snacks.
Oh.
Which maybe a little bit of cheeky basil at the same time.
Why not?
There you go.
Well, thanks. So this is our first time filming an inside video since we've been here, so we haven't got an area set up yet, so apologies for the super awesome backdrop we've got at the moment.
Are you saying that these curtains aren't really aesthetically pleasing?
I really dislike them. And I don't think they'll take that nice little colour that I like to shoot up behind us sometimes, so it's just a bit boring, unfortunately.
That's what you get when you buy a house off a cute old lady.
There is a lot of lace and lace adjacent items left over by the previous owners. So I've made some notes, so I might just look down to refer to my notes sometimes about what's gone on this past year, because it feels like there was a lot going on. And I don't think I captured all of it in my notes, so feel free to...
It's weird, it's that feeling where it feels like we've done heaps in the last year, but also like doesn't feel like we've done anything. It's weird, it's a very weird feeling.
Yeah, I suppose like when you move to what's going to be a homestead for you, you're all excited about planting gardens and animals and all sorts of things. And the animals that we've had, the cat, which everybody knows and loves, mows with us. And then the only other animals we've had is that when we first moved in, well, before we moved in rather, we had some sheep that we had in our paddock, which weren't our sheep. They were friends of the family. So that was hopefully to help keep the grass down while we weren't here all the time to be able to mow. But there was...
They kept it down a little too well.
They kept it down to dirt is what they kept it down to. They put too many in the paddock for such a small size. So it really went down to dirt, and when it became sort of summer, there wasn't much food for them, so we said it's best probably to relocate them, and we haven't had them come back since.
No, but we also, we kind of took down a lot of fencing and stuff that we probably will need to look at a new game plan if we do want to get some animals and let them roam around, because at the moment there's nothing actually keeping any animals out of our veggie garden and the orchard and stuff, so that will be something to reassess once we actually want to get some animals.
Yep. Well, perhaps we'll have a bit of a walkthrough of what this last year looked like for us, and then we'll do the figs while we're doing it. I don't have any idea what you want to do with the figs, so you're going to have to hold my hand through this process.
It's literally just washing them, drying them, and cutting them in half.
I don't know. And then at the end, we might have a chinwag about what the next year looks like for us.
Essentially just want to wash them and dry them, and then cut them in half and put them in here so that they're not touching.
So, like we said earlier in the intro, we bought the place in November of 21, and then we didn't think we were going to get work here so quickly, so we thought it'd be a weekender for a little while, but you were able to manage working from home with your work. And then I was able to pick up a local job for a builder doing houses. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I think that all happened a lot quicker than either of us were really expecting it would. We sort of thought we'd have longer where we'd be still living in Melbourne, but worked out well in the end.
Very well.
Yeah, you just want to cut the little top part off.
Just slice it off like that.
Yeah.
And then halvesies it.
Yeah. And that's what it looks like. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
So we moved in March of 22, which took us so many trips back and forward from Melbourne. Every weekend, even before we knew we were moving up, we started moving things up because we were living in the 2-bedroom small apartment in Melbourne. And this house is just over 2 hours door to door from the last place. So we could only do one trip every weekend bringing things up. And then we did one final trip at the end where we hired a van and took one van load up.
And I didn't realise we owned so much shit.
We fit so much stuff into that small apartment. Like when we bought this place, we were like, geez, there's so much space here, so many cupboards. We have filled all of them and we haven't really obtained that much more stuff since we lived in Melbourne.
No, we just have a lot of stuff. We're both a bit hoarderish, which is okay. But yeah, I think that we've done pretty well to kind of get organised and stuff. We haven't really started any big projects on the inside of the house, but we've done some really cool stuff on the outside of the house, or like essential kind of stuff on the outside of the house.
Well, the first thing we did after we moved in is in April we started clearing out the gardens. So the old people who lived here had made some garden beds. They're definitely not the way we would make them, in that they've used like metal siding for the sides of the garden beds, so when you lean on them they can really like ding you up. And there's a few other things, but you know what, it was better than starting with nothing. And we probably got 20 years ahead with the amount of trees that we've got planted around here. So obviously the apricots, peaches, olives, figs. Yeah.
What else have we got?
The
grapes,
the artichokes. Were going nuts when we moved in. So we definitely got the jump on some things, which was just amazing. And then when it came time to plant it out, that was about May. By the time we did a really good plant out of the area, it was autumn then, so we planted out the tulips as well.
Yes, that was probably one of my highlights. I know that doesn't seem like a huge thing, but being able to plant something that is going to grow in early spring was kind of a big deal, because at the old apartment, not only did we only have a balcony for a garden, we also just did not get any sunlight at all into that balcony until probably about, what do you reckon, like November or something?
Yeah, late October, early November, because we were surrounded by other tall buildings. The light just didn't get directly into our backyard until that time of year. And then by the time it got around to sort of March again, the light had gone away again. So we just only had a very small amount of the year that we could actually grow things.
Do you want to grab the next one?
Is that going to be too tall? I feel like that's too tall.
So it's got little feet thing that you can put. We might need to cut some of these into quarters, I reckon, maybe the really fat ones.
So the tulips were exciting because you don't know when you plant them. You kind of like are all full of hope, but you don't really know what it's going to be like, because you plant them and then that's it for months. And when they started coming out later in the year, it was so good. Yeah, I really loved the tulips. And what varieties did we have in there? We had
so many
jonquils and stuff as well, didn't we?
Yeah, there was so many different kinds, and it just was really it was just really rewarding seeing something actually like flourishing that we had planted. It was really cool.
In June was the time to harvest the olives. We'd never done olives before. That was our first time.
June?
Yep, that was June.
Wow.
June is when we did that. And just looking out front again, the olive tree is loaded again. They're all green at the moment, so they're not, it's not time yet, it's a couple of months early, but we're full, the tree's full of them, so we're going to have another big season of those again.
And we still haven't actually eaten all of the ones from last year.
We have not. We're gonna have to share the goodies this year, I think. In June, we also did our laundry reno, which was the first works that we did inside the house. So it's a bit of a temporary reno. The room when we first moved in was like Spider City. It looked like you wouldn't want to take your clothes in there to wash them, that's for sure. They'd come out worse than what they went in. So we felt like that room needed a refresh to make it usable. And it was the first reno that we've done together. Like, it was only a light refresh, not a full-blown reno. But we did flooring, and we did shelving, and we did painting, and
we did
caulking.
paneling, like we
did wall panel.
What was it called?
The VJ panel.
Yeah, we did VJ paneling, that was fun. And hides a multitude of sins.
It really does. So there was a lot of stuff that we achieved then, and we're really stoked about that. In our forever plans, we have...
Sorry.
Our forever plans have a full laundry reno in another area of the house. And we knew that coming in, so it was just a temporary one. We didn't put thousands and thousands of dollars into it.
Yeah, pretty proud of it. Still haven't finished painting every single little part of it. Still need to paint, I think, the windowsills and the cornicing and stuff, but it's a functional laundry, it's fine. But yes, that was kind of one of the bigger sort of milestones that we finally got to do, was getting the stumps done. The actual stumps themselves weren't like moldy or like rotten or anything like that. It was just that there was a lot of like sinking and like erosion or whatever you call it, I think, like where some of the stumps had like fallen down, or, you know, that sort of jazz. So there was parts of the house that weren't where they were originally when it was built. So we kind of wanted to make sure we got that done before we moved on to much else.
We knew that there wasn't much point doing any proper full renos until we got the stumps done, because it would just never sit right, and it would bug me for the rest of its existence, not being right. So we got the stumps done. So that was a big outlay, and it was really hard to get someone to do it because trades are thin on the ground at the moment. Some of the people we touched base with said that there was a 3-year wait list, but we were lucky to get in, and someone had a job pull out which shoved us up months up the queue, which was really awesome for us. In July, we had not paid a great deal of attention to the garden out the back. Like, we'd been growing things, but what also had been growing was all the stinging nettle.
Oh my god, the stinging nettle.
So our garden was overrun with stinging nettle, and we'd put it on the back burner for a little while. Too long, indeed. And so we finally got around to clearing that out, which was really good. But
more than once, we'd clear it and then it would just grow back.
Yeah.
So it was kind of demoralising.
But we've kept on top of it, and there's barely anything there anymore. So every so often something might pop up that we're like, oh, I think that's stinging nettle come through, and we just get rid of it, and then it's all good. So that's been good. But something else happened then. We started our new berry garden. And when we started digging that out, Betty had a little accident.
Yeah, I had a fall.
She had a fall. Comment down below what you think is the age where you go from, oops, I fell over, to I had a fall.
I don't think I'm there yet, but oh dear. But yes, I had a good stack, really stuffed up my ankle and did a decent amount of soft tissue damage. Nothing was broken or anything, but definitely was not able to do much for a little while, which was another setback. And then we just had we had the really just most ridiculously rainy spring, and like coldest spring that's been in existence for ages apparently. Like, it just rained and rained and rained, and we just got next to no sunlight, so everything that should have been going absolutely bonkers for spring, it was like we were still in the depths of winter. And you know, we'd plant seedlings and they'd either just like not grow because they weren't getting enough sun, or they'd be really stunted and sickly, and just was a bit of a bit of a weird time to be trying to kind of grow anything, and
we ended up getting to the end of that period and having to sort of start again. The season just had a few false starts, that one. We were so excited for spring because we knew that would be like obviously a great growing season. We were so excited for it, and then the weather just didn't play ball. So it was really demoralizing. So we had a little patch there where we didn't do much at the end of last year video wise because we were just a little bit demoralized by how things were going there. And also Betty was not in a great state because of her injury, and there was a whole bunch of things. But you know what we did last year about that time that did really well and was really exciting and has been a video that's been consistently doing well, is our sooty mould video.
oh yeah, the sooty mould.
Yeah, so our lemon tree out the back, which has been prolific grower since we moved in, had a terrible case of sooty mould. So we did a video on how we cleaned that up. We also did a lot with the lemons, didn't we?
Yeah, made lemon butter. I can't remember what else. I did make quite a lot of stuff from the lemons, which was really fun.
Yeah. But the sooty mould video, for anyone who's got issues with that, has been doing really well. And just as a recap, the white oil that we used on it was really easy to use. We've only done that one application.
It was easy once we figured out how to use the bloody spray.
Once our spray bottle started working. But it's been really good. The tree is so healthy right now, and we're just coming through for the new round to start turning yellow now. So we're about to get a whole bunch more lemons.
Whee!
Once the flooding stopped, it was basically Christmas time, which was crazy. And then it kind of swung into 40 degree days like straight away. So it took us until January to replant out the garden again properly. So it was a pretty late planting out of the season, so we're sort of running short on time for things to get their full growth out of it before the end of the season now. But it's probably been our most successful growing season yet by a long shot.
Hands down. We definitely had a couple of successes sort of since we've been here, but this season over the summer has really felt like the first time we're actually getting an abundance of stuff that we can eat and like offer to, you know, family and friends and stuff like that. I've given away so many jars of jam. I've given away zucchinis. I've given away the chard. What else have we given away? The snow peas.
Yeah. The tomatoes are getting real prolific, so and obviously figs we've been letting people come and grab. So there's been a lot to share, which has been really exciting. It's nice sending people away and they've got armfuls of rainbow chard in their arms,
or armfuls of one single giant zucchini.
Yeah, they are huge. The zucchinis we're growing the yellow zucchinis, which you've probably seen because we probably would have put it in the video by now. And they're growing so huge, and all we've done is that we probably put a bit of a mix of soil to compost ratio of probably like 70-30, you reckon? Something like that.
Something like that.
And other than that, not much.
I mean, Zoom is probably unaware of the times I've like applied plant food to them, and you know, like
True, I probably have.
the seaweed solution and blood and bone and stuff. I have.
Okay, you've done more than I thought you did.
I've done some of those.
I knew we'd added some, but I didn't realise it was that much.
Yes, I've probably done, I think maybe like 2 applications of either just like general veggie feed or the sea salt or like blood and bone fertilizer stuff. So, and they just seem like they're loving life. So that's quite good.
Things are going bonkers. It feels like a jungle out there. The pumpkins we've got growing are just like expanding out so much. The space that they said to allow for them on the packaging was not nearly enough, but it's been quite fun.
The pumpkins are my favourite thing to grow, and I think next year I'd love to have a dedicated pumpkin patch. I think we're going to try to till the ground and make a bit of a dedicated pumpkin patch.
We actually bought ourselves a little tiller machine, but the thing hasn't worked since we got it, so if I can get that up and running, we'll give you a rundown on how that works too.
If anyone knows how to start a whatever brand it is, put a picture of it.
Don't know. I'll try to share it. But it's funny because whenever we can't do something, we often rely on YouTube, searching for something and then watching a video of someone else doing it. And we found one other video for this particular tiller, and the video was a really old video, and the guy was showing, and then he couldn't start the thing, and he couldn't start it for ages, and you watch him, and then suddenly he's like, cut the video, restart the video, and it's running. So I don't know what he did to get it running. Like, the whole point of watching the video was to see that moment, and he cut it out. But it was somewhat like, it made me feel a little bit better that he struggled so much getting it started too, because it's not just us that are struggling with machinery.
It was rough.
What's the next step? We're putting that on here now?
Yeah. Did we use all the shelves?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, pop it on.
Cool.
And that's it.
That's it for those. Them on two. What else happened? So we had the seed storage contraptions, and we did a bit of a video on that.
My life's work.
Yeah, it's been so good. It's been really great. So we highly recommend following that video to get an idea of how you might want to store your seeds as well. We also, on that same video, we did some raised garden beds with the cattle panel. Cattle panel.
It's a fun word to say together.
The archway over that. So that's going really well. So we've only just done that recently, and snow peas are starting to grow up it, which is cool.
Very cool.
I think it's going to be really great when that's done. We got your kiln.
Yes! So we're still to actually get whatever the amp.
It was 15 or 20 amps that we needed for it.
We have to get a special power point installed for the kiln. It can't run off just a standard one. So we're kind of like in two minds to get one installed right now, or, you know, as soon as we can, or to wait until probably what the next big exciting thing is.
So we are building an American barn.
Woo!
So it's going to be a colorbond barn, and it's going to be the old manor red with cream trims, just like a traditional American barn. We're very, very excited about it. We've got the materials coming at the end of this month. However, the builder who was going to do it for us has fallen through, and I'm pretty good with timber, but steel's outside my wheelhouse, so it's just not something I feel comfortable building myself. So we're just running around trying to find another builder at the moment that'll take on the project for us. So that's a bit of a hold up.
If anyone knows a good builder around the
Grampians
region that would be willing to help put up a cute shed.
Yep, we will pay. So that's the big thing. So when that's done, that'll be where we put the kiln. There'll be a bit of a pottery area, some storage. It's going to be a bit of a carpentry workshop in there, and we're going to build ourselves a bit of a YouTube studio. So our filming in the near future will be a lot better.
It's gonna be level up, boys.
Level up. Yeah, I'm really excited to have space. I feel like I've wanted to do a lot of cooking videos in the past with produce that we've made, and in the apartment we had like a galley kitchen, and you just really couldn't film it at all. And this one that we've got here is a bit of a U shape, so it's a little bit larger than the kitchen that we used to have, but not still enough space. So we'll probably put a kitchenette in that area that's a right shape for being able to get cameras and film, and an area to do filming like this. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about the possibilities of what we can achieve with that.
I'm just excited to be able to do some bloody pottery finally. It's like when something's just sitting there and you can't use it, and you're just like, yeah, it's just been taunting me. But that's okay, I can wait a little longer.
The last thing that happened this year, up till now, was in our last video, and that was when we had Mo bring a snake inside the house.
That's a milestone I would not like to have happened, but
it's a milestone in that we knew that he'd come across a snake eventually, but it's not the milestone that I wanted in having a snake inside the house. Up in Queensland, you might have seen a lot of Australian wildlife videos where snakes get in people's houses. It's usually Queenslanders, and it's usually pythons, and the pythons are non-venomous. They're like, that's why the Aussies are so chill about pythons being in the house. They're not going to cause them any harm unless they wrap around them and get a bit constricty. But really, that's why Aussies in those videos are usually fine to pick them up and move them outside. But we live down the southern states, and our snakes down here are not friendly.
There's me mom, right on time.
We just had a visit from Betty's mum.
She came over to pinch some figs.
Which is fine.
No, it's more than fine because we have quite the abundance of them. So thanks, Mum.
Yep. I feel like we were talking about the snake, but if you want any more backstory on the snake incident, you can check out the last video we were doing. The other thing was, like, obviously our channel's a bit not just homesteading stuff, we do some travel stuff as well, because obviously our channel started off with us filming our adventures around the state, and we still do that. So last year we went and saw Viaduct Caves, we went to Port Fairy, we went to Mount Buanga waterfalls, we went to Cape Bridgewater, and we went to the Otways. So less travelling around from the year before, I think, but the trips were still really good.
Yeah, and it feels like we've got to see quite a bit of Victoria that we might not have made the effort to go and see when we lived in Melbourne. So, for example, Port Fairy and like Portland and stuff, quite a trek from Melbourne, but it's only maybe like a couple of hours away from Ararat. So that's been really good to see a few different places and get around our little neck of the woods.
And no doubt we'll have more coming. We have a big trip in May planned. It's my 40th in May.
Can you believe?
Old!
Can you believe?
So we're going to Bali. We've been to Bali a few times, and I remember the first time we went there, we went for a wedding, and I was like, Bali, it's just like where Aussie bogans go. I had no want or need to go to Bali ever in my life, and then when we got there, we loved it.
It was awesome.
It was so good. We just avoid Kuta where all of the Aussies party.
Yeah, we go for the relaxation and, you know, the delicious food and the beautiful scenery and stuff like that. We don't go to drink bintangs and party. But yeah, so we also got engaged in Bali. So it's going to be nice to go back there for the first time in.
Yeah, I think we've spent 2 birthdays and a wedding and an engagement, and so Bali is a place where we've gone a few times, and there's always been something great attached to it. So inevitably we'll make a few videos while we're over there, which is a little bit different to our local Victorian content, but still pretty fun. Upcoming plans for the year. So we talked about our shed, that's our big one.
Yeah. Upcoming plans for the year, what else?
We plan on getting chickens.
Yeah.
Yep. So when we get the slab done for our shed, we're also going to do some foundations for a chicken coop area, because foxes are terrible in this area and they will dig and dig and dig to get into areas, and they've been attacking other people's farms around here during the day as well. So we really need to be able to keep our chickens safe during the day as well as night. So not just locking them up at night and thinking that'll keep them safe. So we're doing a bit of work there. That's probably the reason we haven't got them already. We're waiting on that. So that's upcoming. What else have we got on the cards?
Probably try to grow some more veggies, obviously.
Yeah.
What else?
Plant some more fruit trees.
Yeah, plant some more fruit trees. We've got quite a lot of citrus trees that have just been in pots that we've been putting off actually planting them because it's just been too hot over summer, so they don't like being relocated when it's super hot. It stresses them out. What else?
Oh, plenty. I think we'll just leave some to mystery, I reckon. The last thing that I thought I'd touch on before we go is just channel related. So just a bit of I've written some milestones down.
Here we go. Oh, watch out for
Not that many. Gonna get slime from the figs. We passed 2,000 subscribers this year. We're up to a bit over 1,100 now, which is very exciting for us. It's sort of been a slow, steady burn. I know some other channels just come out of the gates and get their boom, but we've been a slow and steady increase, and I feel like I'm really stoked to achieve that.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, you know, some channels also put out videos, like
some channels don't go a few months without putting a video out. Yeah, so I'm trying to improve the frequency of our videos, so that's doing pretty good over the last month, I thought.
Yeah, it's just sometimes a little tricky with both of us working such hectic jobs.
Yeah, full-time jobs and other things on the cards. Obviously, most people won't understand that. We got over 21,000 views in the past 365 days, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Again, we're small potatoes compared to a lot of people, but I just thought that was really cool. We got over 1,000 hours of watch time in the last 365 days, so we're not getting paid yet. But we're a quarter of the way there, and you know, the end game would be awesome if that became something that allowed us to be on the farm more and less out in the world working. So that's a long-term goal. And I just thought I'd note down our most popular videos, just as a bit of a funny, we'll compare it to the next time we do one of these videos next year, hopefully. So our top videos at the moment, we have our top 9 beginner hikes in Victoria, has over 10,000 views. What? Yep, so that's pretty amazing. The next one is a short that we did, and it was how to tell pumpkin flowers female to male, and that talked about hand pollinating. So we talked about that earlier in this video, I think. So go have a look at that if you haven't hand pollinated before and want to know how to do it. It's very much the same for pretty much everything that gets pollinated like that with the male and female varieties. That has over 4,000 views.
Wow.
And our outside tour of the homestead that we did when we first moved in, which the quality was shocking, but it was still good. We've had over 2,700 views on that one, so there are big 3 videos this year. So I just wanted to chuck that in there and have a bit of a line in the sand, and we can compare next year what the standing looks like.
And I think it's important to say a huge thank you to everyone that watches, subscribes, likes, comments, all of that jazz, because
this would be for nothing if people didn't enjoy what we do. It gives I think we'd probably still document our journey anyway, because it's been good for our own benefit to look back on, and so that's been really good. So we probably would do it anyway, but it's just nice and validating when people say like, oh, I like it, the effort that I put into it and you put into it, and the time. I just think it's really nice to be able to share these things, and it feels really good when people tell us that they enjoy it too. So thank you for everybody who gives us all the feedback.
Wait.
So we've been talking about, you know, how everyone does, love hearts. That's our millennial generation, and we're all laughing. That's crap. I think the kids are doing this now. That's how they're doing a love heart.
Bloody kids.
Feels really weird.
I refuse.
Those young whippersnappers.
Or this. Wait.
Such tags. So yes, that's a recap of the year. Thank you everyone for following along the journey, and we will see you all in the next video.
I'm hungry.
Let's go eat. Put these dehydration things on.
Parch them.
What?
Get them parched.
Get them parched. See you guys.